we welcome you to In Focus. Hi there, I'm Allison Walker. It is National Hispanic Heritage Month, which is celebrated every year from September 15th to October 15th. And the month, it recognizes the contributions and influence of Hispanic Americans to the history, the culture, and achievements of the United States. And the Hispanic community is also one of Florida's fastest growing demographics. Yeah, so a little history first behind National Hispanic Heritage Month. So it was first observed as National Hispanic Heritage Week. That was way back in 1968. It was later expanded to a month by President Ronald Reagan. So the first day, September 15th, that is a significant one for many Latin American countries. It is the anniversary of independence for Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Costa Rica as well. Yeah, so September 16th is Mexico's Independence Day. And then coming in on September 18th, we have Chile. So let's bring in our guest today on In Focus. We have Osceola County Commissioner Viviana Janer from District 2. Welcome to the show, Commish.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, it's our pleasure. And we also have Angel de la Portilla, the president of Central Florida Strategies. Angel, welcome again to In Focus, of course. Looking forward to this convo, you two. We're talking about Hispanic Heritage Month. So I want to know from you first, Commissioner, what's the importance of observing this every year? I know you're from Puerto Rico.
I am. Well, it's very important, especially to us in Osceola County. I mean, locally, Osceola County, we're 56% of the population approximately is Hispanic. So it's very, very important to us to recognize those contributions for our Hispanics into our society.
And some people, Angel, say, why do we have to observe, to isolate a certain group for a month? How important is that to you that this is happening? Do you observe it? Do you celebrate it?
I celebrate a few of the events. There's a lot of events going on. It's a very diverse community, a lot of diverse events. I am a son of Cuban immigrants that came here in the 1960s. I was born in Miami, but I've lived in Central Florida for 35 years now. And I've seen the growth of the Hispanic community, and their influence has grown politically, also in very high positions in education, transportation, and things like that. So I think it's extremely important to celebrate one's heritage. We celebrate both as Americans and also our Hispanic heritage as well.
It's no secret that Hispanic community is one of Florida's, of course, fastest growing. So sticking with you, Angel, what have you seen change, perhaps, over the years, just with the community?
Right. Well, when I first moved here, the Hispanic community there's a lot of Puerto Ricans that came here in the 1980s. Mm-hmm. They moved to Osceola County, they moved to Orange and all that, and then also some Cubans that have been living here. But I've seen the community grow. Now there's Colombians, there's Venezuelans, there's a lot of Mexicans. So the community's growing, and you see a lot of different Hispanic restaurants open up. Mm-hmm. Like there's a very good Peruvian restaurant in Lake Nona. There's good Puerto Rican restaurants in Orange and Osceola. So yes, that's what I've seen. Just the growth and the diversity of the community has grown.
Awesome. And let's consider some of these numbers here. The American Immigration Council is reporting that about 1 in 5 Florida residents is an immigrant. Cuba, Colombia, and Mexico make up 3 of the top 5 countries. Florida immigrants, they're from, I want to know what specifically here in the Sunshine State makes what's so attractive to these groups of people. What are you knowing? And from the folks coming to Osceola County from these countries?
Right. Well, we like to say we are the center of the universe in Osceola County. Just an inside joke. No, I think number one, the weather is very, if you compare us to, for example, New York City, which was is still and was a big landing spot for Puerto Ricans, for example, the weather here in Central Florida is definitely more to their liking when you're talking about people coming from Central America or people coming from the Caribbean or South America. And number two is that we have a lot of job opportunities, quite frankly, whether for people that not necessarily are not 100% proficient in English, they come here and they have an opportunity. They could work in a hotel, they could do a lot of things without not necessarily 100% knowing English.
And it feels like the transition isn't as jarring. You know, there are more familiarities as well. And Commissioner, sticking with you, as then the Hispanic community grows, wondering about the policies. What policies need to change to accommodate this future growth and the growth of now?
Well, that's a great question. Well, in Osceola County, we're about 56% Hispanic.
Okay.
And I like to say that our policies are good for everybody because one of the things that's affecting Hispanic communities are housing insecurity, healthcare issues, access to higher education. And so when we set our policies, these are policies that are good for everybody, not only Hispanic communities. So we have affordable housing we've created over the last 15 years, over 1,500 units. We have a program called Osceola Prosper where every student that graduates in Osceola County High School gets a free either 2-year associate's degree at Valencia or a certification over at Osceola Technical College. And finally, in healthcare, we have programs, especially for our seniors. We give eyeglasses, we have low or no cost dentures. So these programs are not specific to the Hispanic community, but they are one of the beneficiaries of these programs that we have in place and enacted.
Got it. And some numbers here, according to the Joint Economic Committee, nearly 5 million Hispanic-owned businesses contribute more than $800 billion to the American economy. This is every year. And on top of that, about 1/4 of new businesses are Hispanic owned. And the number of Hispanic owned businesses has grown by about 34% in the last decade. So we also have to consider the growth of Hispanic businesses in Florida. So Angel, tell me about the overall impact of Hispanic owned businesses, not just for the Hispanic community, but really the entire state.
Yeah, and I want to just touch on something that you asked earlier. One of the reasons I think geographically we're located, we're in the South, right? And the proximity to the Caribbean, the proximity to South America. So this, and also the now we've got 5 or 6 decades of immigration coming in from different countries. So they go where there's people there that they may know from their previous countries. So they attract.
That's a great point.
But a lot of Hispanics when they get here. They start businesses, right? They start businesses because that is we're all looking for the same thing: is social mobility, right? The ability to come to a new country and advance and grow, and we want the same things that everybody else wants: good education, good roads, affordable housing, attainable housing, and all that. So a lot of them choose a career path, a traditional career path, but a lot of them start businesses. And maybe they have a trade, they have a skill, and they bring it from their countries. Restaurants is an easy thing. If you owned a restaurant, let's say in Puerto Rico or in Mexico or Colombia, you come here and you bring that culture and that experience. You bring it here, and that helps grow the local economy because now you create a market for new types of restaurants and businesses.
And you started Central Florida Strategies, 18 years ago now?
I started in 2008, but prior to that, I moved here in 1990 to start a business. I've been in business on my own since I was 22 years old, and that was a dream that I saw my family members that came from Cuba to Miami build successful business, and I wanted to emulate them, but I came 4 hours north to Orlando. So.
Wow. Wow, well, proud family indeed.
Yes.
Commissioner, curious to know any misconceptions that Floridians have about Hispanics or the Hispanic community? Are there any?
Well, I would think there's misconceptions about any type of nationality that is not your own, because people like to assume and make assumptions. A lot of the times is that everybody that comes here is uneducated and looking to mooch off the system and what could they get from free, when in reality Hispanics that come here are a very hardworking community looking to contribute, looking to start businesses, looking to work and make a difference in their communities. And I think that's the biggest misconception.
Would you agree, Angel? What have you run into?
Also, Hispanics, there's 28 different Hispanic countries and cultures, right?
Yeah.
And even within those countries, there's different traditions and cultures within the country, different accents, different types of food that they eat, right? So it's very difficult to generalize everybody under one thing. Okay, you speak Spanish, so it's all the same. Yeah, we do. Some of us speak Spanish, some of us don't, because we're second or third or fourth generation, right? But it's a very diverse culture, and I think that the more you know, and the more that one knows, the better, the better you can understand what are because people are here for different reasons as well.
Yeah.
So.
And we were talking about restaurants earlier, but a really good place to do that is in the restaurants, because you typically have multi-generations running those restaurants.
Right.
With our chef's kitchens, that's what I'm finding out a lot, and that's really beautiful and very strong.
Right.
When we know you two, that this has been a year unlike any, especially with the Hispanic community, with everything that's happening around immigration, in the state and across the country. So, I know, Commissioner, you're on the county level. I know this is a big, a federal issue, but I'm sure your constituents are coming to you, maybe with concerns or questions. What are some of these conversations that you can share with us?
Well, I will tell you that, first of all, the majority of the Puerto Ricans in Osceola County are Puerto Rican. I'm the majority of the Hispanics,
Puerto Rican.
in Osceola County are Puerto Rican. And as Puerto Ricans, we are United States citizens. But we do have people from South America. We do have people from the Dominican Republic, from Cuba, from Mexico. So obviously it's a concern. And a lot of times, they're integrated families. It's not like Puerto Ricans stay with Puerto Ricans. There could be a Puerto Rican married to a Colombian and concerned about an immigration issue. So there's been many concerns, but as a local elected official, I could just tell them that's a federal issue, and we do have to comply with whatever rules and regulations are put on us on a county level, but it's more of a federal issue. Most people are just concerned, like, will my husband, for example, be able to finish his paperwork and get his visa? I am a great referrer. Go to an attorney and find out, because that's not something that we on a county level are able to give advice on.
Sure. And I asked that too because I was reading about some city in Texas where during National Hispanic Heritage Month, they usually have this huge blown out festival, and this year they said we're not going to do it because they didn't want to bring more visibility to the group as a whole. Angel, how would you respond to that?
Well, there's the immigration question, and there's the illegal immigration and the enforcement of illegal immigration. That is really what we're going on. We're seeing now, in Florida and across the country. We've had immigration in this country for decades, right? But there's also a market for illegal immigration. I think one of the things that people really need to understand is the illegal immigration is a result of a market for hiring folks that are not documented because they can pay less for labor. I think if the government looks at perhaps enforcing tighter immigration rules on businesses across the country that have been known to hire illegal folks that are here illegally because you pay less for labor. That is really where I think there should be more of a focus on. If you want to tighten up the entry of illegal immigration, you got to look at the enforcement as well, but enforcing on companies and businesses that hire illegal immigrants. So there's a stigma out there, right? That's, it's political. It's a very, it's a hot political issue. But and then things like that, unfortunately, where now areas or cities that are choosing not to celebrate culture and things like that because of not identifying. That's really it's unfortunate in my opinion.
Tell me, Commissioner, what's good? What's good right now in the Hispanic community that we want to really celebrate and acknowledge?
Well, there's lots to celebrate and acknowledge, right? First of all, Hispanics, we're entrepreneurs. A lot of small businesses are the backbone, at least of Osceola County, and there's a lot that are owned by Hispanic business owners. So right there, I mean, I think that's one really positive and good thing. And the other thing is that their children are going to school, they're going to college, they're graduating, they're becoming our nurses, they're becoming our doctors, they're becoming our lawyers, but they're also becoming things that we really need too, our plumbers, our electricians, our air conditioning repair people. And in terms of Osceola County, they're getting trained to work in the semiconductor, in the technology industry. So this is our future, and again, 56% Hispanic, we're pumping out a lot of talent.
I love that. And then, so Angel, yeah, with your company, how many, first of all, how many employees do you?
No, it's a consulting company.
I
had companies that I had, employees and all that, but now it's me and my son who does some part-time work while he's in school.
And what do you feel that you do want to celebrate this month in the worlds that you're in?
I do want to echo what she said, because I happen to have been on the Valencia College Board of Trustees for about 4 years, and I saw firsthand the impact that Osceola Prosper has had. And Valencia, their enrollment in Osceola County is up double digits. And I'll share a story with you. Several years ago, I was at the Osceola campus and I met a young girl. She was getting a certificate in roadway construction, like site work and all that. Puerto Rican descendant girl, Puerto Rican girl, and she ended up getting a job with Hubbard Construction. She's building roads and making $80,000 a year.
Wow.
Okay, simply because of the work ethic and the commitment to advance. And when we're seeing, as the commissioner stated, we're seeing kids go into careers, go into pre-med programs starting right out of high school. They can start taking classes and then eventually transition into higher degrees either at UCF or elsewhere. So I think that's going to have a long-term impact. Osceola County is really the only county in Florida that does that, and they're investing in their biggest asset, which is their people.
The only county in the nation as far as and so we went from 61st out of 67 counties in the state of Florida in college going rate to number 3. So we're extremely proud of that, with over 10,000 students taking advantage of the program thus far since we created it.
So that incentive right there.
Correct.
Incredible. And are there any other resources or incentives, Commissioner, in Osceola County that you can advise folks to hit up who, maybe aren't struggling, but who just want to, elevate their career?
It all depends on their type of issue, but again, a lot of our community has housing insecurity, so I definitely encourage them to reach out to our Housing and Community Services Department and see what resources are available to them. And even if we don't have something for them specific, we'll definitely be happy to point them on the right direction of where they should go.
Yeah, love that. And Angel, your final takeaway, just the stuff that you maybe want folks thinking about as they're having dinner tonight, as a family, as we honor and recognize this month.
We live in the greatest country on earth, and for generations Hispanics have been coming here and contributing to this great country. For me, it gives me great pride to see, when I see articles where, somebody gets an appointment, somebody gets elected to something, somebody is, a superintendent of a large school district. That's, we're leaving, we leave the next generation will have even more opportunities because of the work that Commissioner Janer and I have done, and our parents did before that. So just to continue to grow and be part of this great country is what makes me most proud as a Hispanic.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. To keep up with important issues impacting our communities and hear more conversations with the people who are shaping the future, subscribe to our channel. You can also download our app or find Spectrum News on your TV for balanced, in-depth political coverage and more.